In the final chapter of the Cretaceous period, 68 million years ago, a colossal predator rose from the shadows of evolution's forge. This was Tyrannosaurus rex, the tyrant lizard king, a creature whose name would echo through the corridors of time itself. Towering nearly 20 feet tall and stretching over 40 feet long, T-Rex ruled with jaws built to crush bone and hearts to instill fear. Imagine a predator whose bite could shatter the armor of prey and pulverize bone into dust. This was nature's perfect weapon. But this king was not born overnight. Its throne was carved through millions of years of evolution and relentless natural selection. Long before T-Rex, smaller tyrannosaur ancestors prowled the ancient continents, learning the art of survival and the science of killing. From Asia's Dilong Paradoxus to North America's Albertosaurus, evolution experimented before unveiling its masterpiece. When T-Rex finally appeared in what is now Western North America, the world trembled under the echo of its thunderous steps. The landscape it ruled was lush, dangerous and filled with challenges, a theater of survival where only the mighty endured. Giant herbivores like Triceratops and Ankylosaurus roamed the plains, offering both prey and peril for the apex predator. T-Rex was more than a hunter. It was an opportunist, a scavenger, and a strategist shaped by the chaos of the Cretaceous. Its skull, nearly 5 feet long, was a fortress of bone, lined with teeth as sharp as daggers, each built to crush, tear, and kill. These teeth, some over 12 inches long, were serrated like steak knives, designed to rip through flesh and snap tendons with ease. Unlike sleek hunters like raptors, T-Rex relied on raw power, precision, and an unparalleled sense of smell to track its victims. Modern studies reveal that its olfactory bulbs were among the largest of any dinosaur, an apex tracker of death and decay. Scientists estimate it could smell a carcass from miles away, making it both a deadly predator and the ultimate scavenger. But raw strength alone didn't make T-Rex king. Its intelligence and adaptability gave it an unmatched edge in prehistoric warfare. Fossil evidence shows social interaction, perhaps hunting pairs or family groups, changing how we view this ancient killer. This intelligence allowed T-Rex to exploit every advantage, from ambushing prey to defending its territory with brutal dominance. Each thunderous footstep carried the weight of a dynasty, the apex predator of an ecosystem teeming with ancient giants. Yet even kings face rivals. In its realm lurked armored foes, horned beasts, and cunning raptors that tested its supremacy. Picture the confrontation. A T-Rex facing a full-grown Triceratops, its massive horns poised like lances of living bone. One misstep could mean death, yet this predator thrived by turning danger into opportunity, fear into calculated aggression. The Cretaceous world was no paradise. It was a battlefield ruled by tooth, claw, and the unyielding rhythm of survival. Every sunrise brought new battles, storms, hunger, and challenges, testing the might of the tyrant lizard's bloodline. But through it all, T-Rex endured, evolving into the perfect blend of terror and intelligence the planet had ever witnessed. Fossils found across Montana, South Dakota, and Alberta tell a story of power, dominance, and ultimate evolutionary success. One of the most famous specimens, Sue, revealed secrets about the size, muscle, and bone-crushing strength of this predator. With a bite force exceeding 12,000 pounds, T-Rex could crush a car door or snap a massive Triceratops limb with ease. That power wasn't just for hunting, it was for ruling. Every creature in its path either submitted or perished in defiance. Despite its ferocity, T-Rex's growth from hatchling to giant remains one of evolution's most astonishing transformations. Fossilized bones show rapid growth spurts, juveniles doubling in size within a few short years under nature's ruthless pace. By adolescence, they were already lethal, fast, cunning, and capable of taking down mid-sized prey before reaching full size. Adults, however, were living tanks, their dense skeletons and thick muscles built for endurance and devastating attacks. Yet, even the king needed to rest. Fossilized footprints show moments of stillness, perhaps basking or guarding fresh kills. Behind those ferocious jaws was a creature that also nurtured, protecting nests, younglings, and its place in the natural order. Some paleontologists believe female T-Rexes were larger, perhaps the true monarchs, ensuring the dynasty's continuation. Eggs found in ancient nesting sites suggest complex behavior, perhaps guarding broods like modern-day birds and crocodiles. This link between dinosaurs and birds tells a fascinating truth. The King's legacy still soars today in the beating wings of eagles. The bloodline of the tyrant never truly vanished. It evolved, adapted, and took to the skies as the ultimate survivors. But before extinction, T-Rex lived in a volatile world, filled with volcanic eruptions, shifting seas, and unstable climates. The Cretaceous period was Earth's dramatic finale. Lush forests, massive swamps, and rising mountains shaped its destiny. In this chaotic land, T-Rex reigned supreme, its thunderous roar echoing across floodplains and fern-covered valleys. That roar, imagined by scientists, might have resembled a deep bellow or rumble, more felt in the chest than heard by the ear. Every vibration sent a warning. The king approaches and survival bows before raw prehistoric power. But what truly defined T-Rex was not its savagery. It was its perfection, the culmination of millions of years of adaptation. Its balance, vision, and senses worked in harmony, creating a predator that nature itself seemed to sculpt for dominance. The T-Rex's forward-facing eyes granted it depth perception, an advantage shared only by the smartest hunters. It could judge distances precisely, striking with terrifying accuracy, ensuring its victims had no chance to escape. Even its tail was a marvel, a muscular counterbalance that stabilized its massive body during high-speed pursuit. Despite weighing 9 tons, T-Rex could reach speeds up to 20 mph, unstoppable once its target was in sight. Imagine that, a moving mountain of muscle charging with the force of a speeding truck through primeval forests. Each chase was a storm of dust and fear. Each kill, a testament to evolution's relentless craftsmanship. T-Rex did not just hunt to survive, it hunted to dominate, to remind the world of its iron rule over life and death. Fossilized tooth marks on bones show repeated feeding, suggesting territorial control and an apex role in the food chain. In ecosystems stretching from Canada to Mexico, every creature's fate was tied to the mood of this colossal predator. Even the skies trembled, pterosaurs scattered, herds panicked, and the earth itself seemed to shudder beneath its steps. Yet, in this brutal beauty of nature, balance existed. Prey adapted, evolved armor, horns, and herding instincts. This arms race of evolution defined the late Cretaceous, predator and prey locked in a dance older than time itself. For every T-Rex that feasted, countless others perished young, victims of disease, hunger, or brutal competition. The fossil record is a graveyard of failed kings, reminders that even in greatness, extinction was never far away. But while others fell, T-Rex endured longer than most apex predators in prehistory, thriving for nearly 2 million years. That's an eternity in evolutionary terms, proof of design so efficient it bordered on perfection. It didn't just rule its world, it defined it, reshaping ecosystems and influencing life across its vast territory. The bones it left behind tell tales of victory, hunger, and survival carved into the ancient earth of North America. In Hell Creek, fossils whisper of thunderous hunts and battles that shook the ancient plains beneath their titanic feet. Every fossil unearthed brings the king back to life, each tooth and claw a relic of power, frozen in deep time. Scientists reconstruct its muscles, its movement, and even its possible skin color, giving us glimpses of the living titan. While once imagined as scaly and reptilian, new evidence hints at a mix of scales and proto-feathers, a dynamic predator. This blend of traits shows evolution EUS artistry, merging ancient reptilian power with avian precision and adaptability. The King's body was a machine of survival, its design unmatched even among the fiercest predators of its age. But as unstoppable as it seemed, T-Rex too would face the inevitable curtain call of mass extinction. The end of the Cretaceous loomed near, an age of fire, darkness, and death awaiting even the mightiest creatures. Yet before that cataclysm, the king reigned supreme, its dominion unchallenged across the primeval North American continent. From dense fern jungles to coastal floodplains, the echoes of its rule resonated through every living thing. Each breath of wind, each ripple of water, carried the scent of the king, a living force of nature's untamed power. In this primeval realm, survival was art, and T-Rex was its master, the brush, the canvas, and the masterpiece combined. Even rival predators like Dakotaraptor kept their distance, aware that one encounter could mean their instant doom. The king's reputation alone shaped ecosystems. Fear became a force as powerful as fang or claw. Prey evolved to run faster, herd tighter, and sense danger sooner, all because the king ruled with unseen influence. Nature's balance was maintained through terror, a living reminder that power demands respect, not mercy. Fossilized droppings show evidence of crushed bone, proof of digestion so intense it turned skeletons into dust. This was not waste, it was recycling at its most primal, fueling the cycle of life and death in the Cretaceous world. The T-Rex wasn't just an apex predator, it was an ecological engineer, shaping evolution through fear and consumption. Every decision it made, every kill it executed, rippled through the entire food web like thunder through ancient skies. But with dominance came isolation. Few could challenge it, and none could equal its unmatched strength. The king lived and died alone, its legacy written not in stone, but in the survival of everything that adapted to it. As the Cretaceous drew to its fiery close, the shadow of extinction crept closer, unseen but inevitable. For the moment, though, the world still belonged to Tyrannosaurus Rex, the king of all that walked upon the earth. Its reign was absolute, its legend eternal, the embodiment of evolution's fiercest masterpiece, the true king of dinosaurs. Power is not just strength, it's precision, balance, and purpose, and the T-Rex embodied all three in a terrifying harmony. Every inch of its colossal frame was sculpted by evolution to dominate, a living engine built for destruction and survival. Its skull alone was a masterpiece, 5 feet of reinforced bone, capable of withstanding the pressure of its own brutal bite. Unlike other predators, the T-Rex's jaws didn't just cut, they crushed, turning its victims into shattered remains of existence. The lower jaw could flex slightly, absorbing shock and preventing breakage when biting through armor or bone. Scientists believe this design evolved through countless generations, perfecting the mechanics of lethal efficiency. Each tooth was serrated and conical, not meant for slicing but for pulverizing, holding, and grinding with bone-snapping force. When T-Rex bit into prey, it didn't just kill, it consumed the skeleton, devouring calcium and marrow in one monstrous motion. Its bite force measured up to 12,800 pounds, nearly 10 times that of a modern lion, and stronger than any living predator. No creature before or since matched this power, a legacy etched in fossilized bones, bearing its unmistakable tooth marks. Its teeth weren't just weapons, they were tools of domination, growing back whenever broken or lost in combat. This regenerative trait ensured the king never lost its crown, always armed, always ready for the next deadly encounter. Its massive head needed perfect support, so evolution gifted it a muscular neck, thick as a tree trunk and packed with power. This neck acted like a crane, controlling the skull's momentum during attacks, ensuring precision without strain. A single strike could crush a prey's spine, its head swinging like a wrecking ball driven by raw biological engineering. The chest and shoulder region of T-Rex was dense with muscle, anchoring strength for stability and forward drive. While its forearms were tiny, they were far from useless, compact, muscular, and able to hold prey close during feeding. Each arm could lift hundreds of pounds, a remnant of evolutionary history preserved for specific moments of power. But the real strength of T-Rex came from its legs, massive pillars designed to move the mountain-sized beast with speed. Its thigh bones were thicker than a human torso, supporting the creature's enormous bulk with surprising agility. Despite weighing nearly 9 tons, the king could move at speeds up to 20 miles per hour, unmatched for its size. Imagine thousands of pounds of unstoppable muscle charging across prehistoric plains like thunder unleashed. Its tail balanced the massive body, acting as a dynamic counterweight during each step and strike. Without that tail, T-Rex would stumble. With it, it became perfectly balanced, a living weapon of coordination and control. Every step it took was measured, each movement calculated by nature's most fearsome design. The tail itself was a powerhouse, a bundle of muscle and tendon capable of propelling and stabilizing its colossal body. During pursuit, the tail's sway kept momentum smooth, allowing bursts of acceleration deadly to any fleeing prey. Evolution gave T-Rex not just strength, but endurance, a critical edge in battles lasting hours or deadly pursuits. Fossils show dense bone structures, evidence of extraordinary stamina and resilience within its massive frame. Beneath its skin lay an intricate web of tendons, nerves, and blood vessels that maintained control over every lethal motion. The king was not clumsy. It was a master of precision. Every bite, step, and strike choreographed for survival. Even its lungs were uniquely efficient, resembling those of modern birds, lightweight yet powerful for oxygen circulation. This adaptation allowed for sustained energy and endurance, letting T-Rex dominate for hours during hunts or territory defense. Its heart, likely massive and robust, pumped life through veins the size of modern plumbing, fueling its predatory rage. Scientists compare its internal systems to an industrial machine: heat regulation, energy conservation, and power output. The T-Rex was a marvel of engineering, biology's answer to perfection in balance, speed, and killing efficiency. But one of its greatest weapons wasn't physical. It was its brain, small yet remarkably advanced for its time. Its brain-to-body ratio was high for a reptile, suggesting complex behavior and strategic intelligence beyond mere instinct. The olfactory bulbs dominated its brain structure, giving it one of the sharpest senses of smell in prehistoric history. It could detect prey, rivals, or carrion from miles away, tracking them across vast landscapes like a living radar. But the T-Rex also had powerful eyesight, binocular vision that allowed it to judge distance with deadly accuracy. Unlike other dinosaurs, it could lock onto movement even in low light, a hunter both by day and under starlit skies. Its forward-facing eyes gave it 3D vision, turning every hunt into a calculated pursuit rather than a blind chase. Combined with its keen hearing, the king of dinosaurs was not just a brute force, it was an apex strategist. Modern simulations show T-Rex could identify specific sounds, perhaps even recognize calls of rivals or potential mates. This sensory mastery meant survival, allowing it to adapt, plan, and dominate within its volatile Cretaceous kingdom. Paleontologists believe it even used vocalizations to communicate, deep bellows and infrasound rumblings like elephants today. These low-frequency sounds could travel miles, warning rivals or summoning mates across dense prehistoric forests. The mighty roar we imagine may have been more like a bone-rattling vibration that echoed through flesh and earth alike. Every sound it made shaped its rule, a living storm whose voice commanded silence across ancient plains. Its thick hide, once thought to be pure scales, might have had patches of primitive feathers, insulation and display combined. This not only protected it from temperature changes, but also added camouflage or visual dominance during mating rituals. Feathers may have lined its spine or neck, glowing in hues unseen by human eyes, a sign of vitality and strength. Such traits prove that T-Rex wasn't just a killer, it was a creature of complexity, evolution, and environmental mastery. Fossil evidence shows healed wounds, proof of resilience and recovery after brutal battles with other apex predators. Broken ribs, bitten tails, and crushed bones healed over time, showing the king's refusal to yield to mortality. Some T-Rex individuals lived over 30 years, long enough to reign, reproduce, and etch their legacy into the fossil record. The scars they carried told stories of victories, near deaths, and survival in a world designed to destroy the weak. Every mark on their bones is a chapter of nature, a most violent epic, one written in blood, thunder, and endurance. Yet, despite its might, even the T-Rex had moments of vulnerability, injuries, infections, and rival confrontations. Fossils show diseases like gout and bone cancer, proof that even kings faced the frailty of life in the prehistoric realm. Some perished not by battle but by hunger, storms or decay, reminders that nature bows to no crown, not even the tyrants. Still, the species thrived, adapting to every challenge that came its way across millions of years of evolution. From hatchlings to titans, each generation refined the blueprint of supremacy until perfection was achieved. The T-Rex's bones became temples of design, the embodiment of nature's most efficient predator on land. Scientists compare its structure to that of modern predators like crocodiles, yet far beyond in complexity and coordination. It was neither too slow nor too fast, its every motion measured by physics and biology in lethal balance. Some call it over-engineered, a creature so powerful it nearly broke the rules of nature itself. Yet, nature built the T-Rex not as chaos, but as balance, every strength countered by a challenge that shaped it further. This equilibrium made it invincible in its domain, a ruler not by accident, but by deliberate evolutionary mastery. Its legacy can still be traced in living animals today, in birds, reptiles, and even the instincts of modern predators. When a hawk strikes or a crocodile drags its prey underwater, they echo the ancient tactics of the T-Rex. The king's blueprint still flows through the veins of nature, a silent inheritance written in muscle and instinct. Modern biomechanics studies show its movements were efficient, saving energy even during massive exertions. This energy conservation allowed T-Rex to patrol enormous territories without exhaustion, a true lord of its realm. Its dominance was not mere aggression. It was control, calculation, and an understanding of power's balance. Even when injured, its endurance let it heal, adapt, and reclaim its territory, proving evolution's ultimate resilience. Fossilized bones with teeth embedded show battles among T-Rex rivals, brutal contests for dominance and mates. These duels must have shaken the earth, each bite echoing across the Cretaceous plains like thunderclaps of fury. Survival depended on strength, cunning, and timing, three traits the T-Rex mastered like no other predator. From head to tail, from tooth to claw, the king's design was not random. It was purpose carved into flesh and bone. When you look at a T-Rex fossil today, you aren't just seeing a skeleton. You're staring at the architecture of supremacy. Every vertebra, every rib, every joint tells a story of motion, balance, and predatory perfection. Scientists say it may have even cooled its brain through nasal passages, preventing overheating during intense hunts. Such adaptation shows awareness, not thought as we know it, but a living system optimized for survival's harsh rules. This is the brilliance of evolution. No waste, no excess, only the necessary traits refined to deadly precision. The T-Rex was not just an animal, it was an event, a living testament to what natural selection could achieve. When it walked, the earth trembled. When it hunted, the world held its breath. When it died, legends were born. The anatomy of power wasn't just about destruction, it was about endurance, dominance, and timeless biological design. And through that design, the T-Rex secured its eternal throne, not just as a predator, but as the symbol of evolution's crown. 68 million years ago, the land that would become North America was a living, breathing arena of survival and dominance. The air was thick with humidity, the skies heavy with volcanic haze, and the earth pulsed beneath the feet of ancient giants. This was the kingdom of Tyrannosaurus Rex, an empire carved not from stone, but from blood, instinct, and supremacy. The region known today as the Hell Creek Formation was once a subtropical paradise, teeming with life and peril alike. Rivers meandered through fern jungles, while swamps and floodplains gave birth to 1,000 different life forms. Here, the king reigned unchallenged, towering above all who crawled, flew, or ran across its ancient dominion. Yet even in its majesty, the world was no easy place. Each day demanded strength, cunning, and unyielding will to live. Massive Triceratops herds grazed on cycads and palms, their horns glistening beneath a blazing prehistoric sun. These were no ordinary herbivores. They were tanks of bone and muscle built to resist even the tyrant's brutal bite. A single clash between a T-Rex and a Triceratops could decide life or death, a ballet of violence and instinct. Fossilized skeletons locked in combat tell stories of final duels where neither predator nor prey backed down. Each battle was a gamble, one wrong move, and even the king could fall beneath the piercing horns of its rival. But the T-Rex was no fool. It studied its prey, struck with precision, and conserved energy for the perfect ambush. Camouflaged by dense forests, it would wait, motionless, silent, a shadow of death hidden in the green labyrinth. When the moment came, it lunged forward with thunderous momentum. Jaws wide, eyes locked in ruthless calculation, the impact was cataclysmic, flesh tearing, bones splintering, nature fulfilling its most ancient contract. Blood and dust mixed with rain-soaked earth as dominance was reaffirmed beneath a crimson Cretaceous sky. The world was brutal yet beautiful, a living ecosystem, where each death nourished new life in the endless cycle. Even scavengers played their part. Small theropods, insects, and early mammals, feeding on the aftermath of the king's feast. The T-Rex leftovers sustained the land. Its kill sites became havens for hundreds of smaller life forms. In this sense, the king was not just a destroyer, but also a giver, maintaining the balance of the ancient ecosystem. Its rule extended across vast territories, plains, rivers, and forests spanning thousands of square miles. Fossil evidence suggests each T-Rex dominated its own realm, marked by scent, sound, and sheer presence. Intruders risked instant death. Fossilized bite marks on skulls show the result of trespass, brutal and final. But even kings needed rest. Shaded valleys and cooling rivers offered refuge from the relentless Cretaceous heat. Perhaps young T-Rexes followed their elders, learning the sacred laws of the hunt from the dynasty's veterans. Hatchlings emerged from eggs buried deep in soft earth, guarded fiercely against predators and scavengers alike. These fragile beginnings contrasted sharply with the monstrous destiny awaiting them in adulthood. As they grew, their teeth sharpened, their muscles hardened, and their instincts awakened to the rhythm of survival. Not all survived. The Cretaceous world was merciless. Disease, drought, and hunger claimed many before maturity. Those that endured became the next generation of rulers, inheriting the bloodline of Earth's ultimate predator. The kingdom of T-Rex wasn't isolated. It was a complex web of life, with each creature playing a vital role. Great rivers carried nutrients through the plains, sustaining vast forests where prey flourished and predators lurked. Flying reptiles like Quetzalcoatlus soared above, their shadows gliding over the realms of both hunter and hunted. Crocodilian ancestors lurked in muddy waters, waiting for an opportunity to ambush the unwary. The earth beneath was alive. Turtles, fish, and amphibians thrived in the wetlands under the king's unseen influence. It was a world in perfect tension, life and death locked in an eternal dance, choreographed by evolution's laws. The T-Rex stood at the pinnacle, the final judge in nature's ruthless hierarchy of survival. Yet, the land it ruled was changing. Tectonic shifts raised mountains and reshaped coastlines, altering entire habitats. Climate fluctuations tested even the strongest. Floods, fires, and droughts became part of the Cretaceous symphony. Still, the king adapted, enduring every transformation with the resilience that defined its reign. Its rule wasn't endless, but its dominance shaped the destiny of every species sharing its realm. The Cretaceous world was more vibrant than many imagine, not barren, but lush with color, sound, and life. Forests of giant ferns swayed under tropical rains, while insects hummed in a chorus older than humanity itself. The air shimmered with the calls of dinosaurs, from chirps of small raptors to the low bellows of giant herbivores. Against this symphony, the footsteps of T-Rex thundered like drums of judgment through the living earth. Fossilized trackways show entire routes of migration, perhaps following seasonal prey across the ancient plains. Its dominion was not static. It moved, adapted, and ruled wherever opportunity led, a king without borders. The prey it hunted evolved under constant pressure, growing smarter, faster, and more defensive through time. This arms race of predator and prey was evolution's greatest spectacle, unfolding for millions of years. The Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, and Ankylosaurus all owe part of their adaptations to surviving the tyrant's rule. Heavy armor, powerful tails, and massive horns were not random traits. They were responses to the T-Rex itself. Each species reflected its predator, shaped by the same invisible sculptor. Fear. Fear, more than claws or teeth, was the king's most powerful weapon. It altered the very course of evolution. Prey herded closer, fled faster, and grew larger, their world molded by the presence of a single dominant species. In this way, T-Rex didn't just rule, it reshaped life itself, an apex influence that still echoes in biology today. Even plant life responded. Crushed ferns and trampled trees marked the pathways of its hunts, changing the forest floor. This ripple effect created microhabitats, nurturing smaller species that thrived in the aftermath of destruction. Thus, the reign of T-Rex was paradoxical. Destruction birthing renewal, chaos giving rise to balance. Nature, through the tyrant, maintained equilibrium. Every kill, every chase, part of a larger cosmic design. The T-Rex was a ruler not of cruelty, but of necessity, the embodiment of nature's impartial justice. Its every action echoed through ecosystems, proving that power, when balanced, sustains as much as it destroys. The Hell Creek environment tells this story through layers of fossilized soil and the remnants of long-lost worlds. Each fossil, each footprint, each tooth fragment is a page in the history of Earth's most dynamic empire. The T-Rex lived in harmony with its chaos, both creator and destroyer, both ruler and subject of nature's rule. When it fed, others lived. When it died, others thrived. The circle never stopped. The kingdom never slept. The Cretaceous sun rose and fell over endless cycles of growth, predation, and renewal beneath the king's gaze. Even rival predators like Dakotaraptor and Troodon learned to coexist, scavenging from the king's table. Their survival depended not on defiance, but on respect, staying close enough to benefit yet far enough to live. In this balance lay the secret of the Cretaceous, cooperation born from fear and survival through adaptation. The world thrived because of, not despite, the presence of the king. His rule brought order to the chaos. Across the continent from Montana to Texas, his reign was recognized by every creature that dared to exist. Ancient skies carried the echo of his movements. Storms seemed to follow in rhythm with his colossal footsteps. Lightning flashed across horizons where T-Rex once roared, illuminating a world sculpted by dominance and defiance. Even today, fossilized bones whisper of those storms, of the thunder that once answered only to the king. The air itself carried his scent, decay, life, and authority, a fragrance that declared ownership over an empire. The Cretaceous ecosystem was more than a stage. It was a breathing witness to the tyranny of survival. The balance of predator and prey ensured evolution continued, pushing life toward new forms and new futures. Without the king, the ecosystem would collapse, his role essential to maintaining the pulse of creation. This is the true power of T-Rex, not merely to rule but to sustain the very fabric of life it seemed to destroy. Yet even in this golden age of domination, whispers of change stirred beneath the surface of Earth's crust. Volcanoes rumbled in the distance, skies darkened with ash, and the planet's destiny shifted in silence. The age of giants was nearing its twilight, a shadow creeping toward every living being under the Cretaceous sun. For 60 million years, dinosaurs had ruled unchecked. But nature was preparing for its most dramatic upheaval. The king's reign would soon face the ultimate challenge, not a rival, but the fury of the cosmos itself. A force beyond evolution, beyond survival, was drawing near, a celestial executioner hidden in the void. As the T-Rex roared across its kingdom, unaware of fate's approach, the countdown to extinction had already begun. The forests still sang, the rivers still flowed, but the end was already written in the stars above. The kingdom of the tyrant would burn, but its story, its legend, would live forever in stone and in memory. And thus the final chapter of the age of dinosaurs loomed, the king unaware that the crown would soon turn to dust. 66 million years ago, the age of the dinosaurs stood at its peak. The T-Rex ruled an empire of dominance and awe. The earth was warm, lush, and thriving, forests covered continents, and giant creatures roamed every horizon. Yet, Above that vibrant world, destiny hurtled through space, a silent traveler born from cosmic chaos. It was a 6-mile-wide asteroid, racing toward Earth at over 40,000 miles per hour. The fate of the Tyrant King and all his kind hung on the edge of that unstoppable collision. In what is now Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, the asteroid tore through the sky like a second sun. For a brief moment, daylight burned brighter than anything the Earth had ever seen. Then came impact, a flash, a roar, and a shockwave that shattered the fabric of the planet. Mountains melted, seas boiled, and the sky ignited as debris blasted into the stratosphere. A crater nearly 100 miles wide was carved into the Earth, the infamous Chicxulub crater. Within seconds, everything within thousands of miles was incinerated. Forests, creatures, and empires of life. The shockwave raced outward, flattening trees, vaporizing oceans, and ending lives in an instant. Even far from the impact in what is now North America, the king felt the tremors of apocalypse. Herds panicked, rivers boiled, and ash began to darken the sky, the world itself turning against its rulers. T-Rex, the master of survival, faced an enemy no claw or fang could defeat, the fury of the cosmos. In the days that followed, firestorms swept across continents, lighting the night like a burning dawn. The air filled with soot and sulfur, choking the skies, blocking the life-giving rays of the sun. Temperatures plummeted, plants withered, and prey animals began to vanish one by one. Without vegetation, herbivores starved, and when they died, so too did their hunters. The mighty T-Rex found its kingdom silent. No movement, no prey, only the sound of wind and ash. The once vibrant forests of Hell Creek turned into a wasteland of smoke and frozen earth. Even the rivers ran black with debris, carrying the remains of a dying world. Some T-Rexes may have endured for months, scavenging the last remnants of life. But as the skies remained dark for years, hope itself began to fade from the land. Fossil layers tell the story, a thin line of iridium-rich dust, marking the moment the king fell. That global layer, known as the Cretaceous-Paleogene boundary, is the tombstone of an era. It marks the line between the age of dinosaurs and the dawn of a new world. Scientists believe over 75% of Earth's species vanished in that cataclysmic moment. It wasn't just extinction, it was global reset, where only the smallest and swiftest survived. As temperatures dropped and sunlight disappeared, even T-Rex's mighty strength meant nothing. The hunters of the Mesozoic found themselves starving, weakened, and lost in endless twilight. The king of the dinosaurs, once invincible, faced the same end as all who had lived beneath his rule. In those final days, silence ruled where once roars had shaken the land. The earth was cold, the sky black, and the echoes of power faded into stillness. Paleontologists imagine the last T-Rex standing among falling ash, its breath steaming in the dim light. Around it, the world of giants crumbled, each breath a ghost of an age soon to vanish forever. Perhaps it hunted one last time, not for hunger, but for instinct, fulfilling its nature till the end. The forests it once ruled were now skeletons of ash, its domain reduced to shadows and silence. The meteor's aftermath created acid rain, poisoned oceans, and shattered ecosystems worldwide. Even creatures that survived the blast slowly succumbed to famine and freezing darkness. Dust clouds blocked sunlight for over a decade. No warmth, no crops, no rebirth. It was as if Earth itself paused, mourning the end of its most powerful dynasty. Yet from this devastation, new life waited quietly beneath the soil and sea. Small mammals, once prey to the dinosaurs, found opportunity in the emptiness left behind. The fall of the dinosaurs cleared the stage for a new chapter in evolution. The King A.S. end was not the end of life. It was the dawn of a new age. The legacy of T-Rex lived on in the genes of birds, its distant descendants still soaring today. Every eagle, every hawk, carries the whisper of the tyrant king in its beating wings. Evolution, in its endless cycle, transformed terror into beauty, power into grace. The asteroid may have ended the reign, but it could not erase the memory of the king, Fossils buried in stone preserved the story, bones turned to monuments of power. When those bones were uncovered millions of years later, humanity met its ancient sovereign. Scientists uncovered skulls, teeth, and claws that once ruled a vanished world, and in each discovery, the king rose again, its story breathing new life through time. The extinction that ended the dinosaurs began the world we know, a planet reborn from fire. Forests regrew, new species emerged, and life reinvented itself from the ashes of catastrophe. But no creature since has ruled with the might or majesty of T-Rex. Its shadow still looms over our understanding of power and extinction. The Chicxulub impact is a reminder. Even the greatest empires can fall in a single instant. Nature's balance is fragile, and survival is a privilege, not a right. The same forces that create life can also erase it with cosmic indifference. The end of the dinosaurs reshaped the Earth's destiny, giving rise to mammals and eventually humans. Without that asteroid, we might never have existed. The king's fall paved the way for our ascent. In that paradox lies one of history's greatest truths. Destruction and creation are twins of time. T-Rex may have perished, but its story continues through us, the inheritors of Earth's rebirth. Every fossil unearthed connects our fragile present to that powerful ancient past. Scientists study those traces not only to know the king, but to understand our own survival. The extinction of T-Rex is a warning written in stone that dominance is never eternal. It teaches us that power fades, species vanish, and life always finds new ways to evolve. The tyrant king as death marked not defeat but transformation, a new balance in nature as design. From its ashes, the age of mammals rose, timid at first, then triumphant in time. Humanity's rise was built on the bones of the giants that came before. Every step we take today echoes through the footprints left by creatures like T-Rex. The end of the dinosaurs was not the end of life. It was the next verse in Earth's eternal song. In the layers of rock and time, the story remains, written in ash, bone, and cosmic memory. The king may have fallen, but the legend never died. It transformed into myth, then science, then wonder. From schoolbooks to cinema screens, the T-Rex continues to reign over human imagination. It became a symbol of nature's might and fragility, a monarch lost but never forgotten. Its extinction reminds us of our place in the grand story, fleeting rulers of a fragile world. Just as T-Rex once believed the Earth belonged to it, we too must remember our impermanence. The king's fall is our mirror, a warning written across 66 million years of silence. Even now, the Chicxulub crater rests beneath the sea, a scar of cosmic destiny. Scientists study it to learn how life ends and begins anew, how fire becomes rebirth. Each discovery adds another verse to the eulogy of the greatest predator ever known. But this eulogy is also a tribute to nature's resilience and to the king who once ruled the earth. When the final roar of the T-Rex faded into eternity, a new world was waiting to awaken. And though the crown of creation passed to others, the legend of the king endures forever. In every museum, in every fossil, the tyrant's spirit still reigns over the imagination of humankind. From the ashes of destruction rose the age of life we now call our own, the king as final gift to earth. And so, the tale of the T-Rex ends not in tragedy, but in transformation, the roar that birthed a new world. Long after its bones turned to stone, Tyrannosaurus rex continues to roar across human imagination with unyielding power. From dusty fossil beds to Hollywood sound stages, the king of dinosaurs evolved into a symbol of primal dominance. Paleontologists in the early 20th century first unveiled its massive skeleton, forever changing how the world saw dinosaurs. Henry Fairfield. Osborne's 1905 reconstruction of T-Rex turned it from fossilized relic into a living monster in the public mind. Newspapers hailed it as the most formidable creature ever to walk the earth, igniting a cultural and scientific wildfire. Museums around the world soon competed to display its fossils, each exhibit drawing millions of awestruck visitors. The Smithsonian, the American Museum of Natural History, and Chicago's Field Museum all claimed their own king. These colossal skeletons, mounted in predatory poses, made T-Rex the ultimate ambassador of prehistoric life. Scientists began rethinking what dinosaurs were, no longer sluggish reptiles but dynamic, intelligent hunters. This shift reshaped the entire field of paleontology, bridging gaps between science, imagination, and evolution. As discoveries continued, artists began painting T-Rex not as a monster, but as a living animal bound by nature's rules. Its image became sleeker, more bird-like, hinting at its avian ancestry and evolutionary brilliance. With every fossil unearthed, new stories emerged, tales of dominance, adaptation, and eventual extinction. Then came the 1990s, a decade when T-Rex would once again conquer the Earth, but this time through cinema. Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park resurrected the king with digital breath, motion, and terrifying grace. The T-Rex chase scene remains one of the most iconic moments in film history. Pure, primal, unforgettable power. In that moment, moviegoers didn't have to see pixels or science fiction. They saw evolution, its most fearsome apex predator reborn. The creature roared again, and this time its voice echoed through culture, toys, art, and imagination worldwide. Children began dreaming of becoming paleontologists, inspired by the king who refused to die. Fossil expeditions doubled, with new digs uncovering young Rex specimens and even rare soft tissue traces. The scientific world shifted its gaze to study growth rates, hunting behavior, and possible pack dynamics. Was T-Rex truly a solitary killer, or a complex social predator like wolves and lions? Studies of bone histology revealed rapid growth spurts, hinting at a creature that reached maturity with blazing speed. The discovery of a juvenile specimen known as Jane opened windows into T-Rex's teenage years. Her bones revealed agility, intelligence, and an evolutionary roadmap to adulthood, nature's survival blueprint. Later, the find of Sue, the largest and most complete T-Rex skeleton, revolutionized everything scientists knew. Sue's discovery in South Dakota became a global event, a fossil worth millions and a story worth telling forever. Her towering frame, now housed at Chicago's Field Museum, became an icon for generations. Crowds gathered, mouths open, staring up at the queen of fossils, the monarch of the prehistoric realm. In Sue's shadow, the legend of T-Rex deepened, part science, part mythology, and entirely magnificent. The debates about its speed, intelligence, and bite force sparked endless fascination and rivalries. Scientists calculated bite pressure exceeding any known predator. Over 12,000 pounds of crushing power. That force could shatter bone like brittle twigs, proving T-Rex's supremacy was not myth, but measurable fact. Even in extinction, it remains the ultimate benchmark of predator perfection. Paleontologists use it as a comparative model, the gold standard of carnivorous evolution. Its fossil record continues to surprise, revealing feather traces, bone injuries, and even potential disease marks. Each detail humanizes this titan, a creature that lived, struggled, healed, and hunted like any apex life form. It's not just the bones that fascinate us, but what they whisper about survival and dominance. T-Rex reminds humanity that nature's throne is never eternal. Every ruler eventually falls. Yet through our curiosity, its legacy transcends extinction, living eternally through science and art. Movies, novels, documentaries, and museums keep feeding our hunger to know this majestic predator. The T-Rex has become a cultural compass, showing us where wonder and knowledge meet. Even video games render its ferocity, letting players feel the heartbeat of prehistoric might. Every roar recreated digitally echoes the ancient thunder that once shook the late Cretaceous plains. In every child's imagination, the king of dinosaurs still walks, still hunts, still rules. Fossil replicas decorate classrooms, symbolizing Earth's deep past and humankind's endless pursuit of truth. Schools teach about T-Rex as the pinnacle of adaptation, the result of evolution's relentless refinement. Each lesson reveals the fragile balance between creation, destruction, and survival. That's the essence of T-Rex, not just power, but persistence written in ancient stone. Scientists still debate its color, its sounds, and even its emotions. Was it cruel, caring, or cunning? CT scans of skull cavities hint at sharp senses and high intelligence, an apex mind behind the monstrous jaws. It could smell prey miles away and process complex sensory data faster than most animals of its time. Such mastery of evolution explains why T-Rex reigned supreme at the top of its ecological pyramid. Yet perhaps what truly crowns it king is not just dominance, but the legacy it carved into human identity. T-Rex became a mirror, reflecting our fascination with strength, fear, and survival itself. The name Tyrannosaurus means tyrant lizard, yet in our minds, it represents far more than a tyrant. It embodies nature's raw creativity, a living masterpiece sculpted by time and struggle. Every fossilized tooth or claw reminds us that the Earth was once ruled by beasts beyond imagination. T-Rex's story connects humanity to that primeval world, a bridge between past and present. Each scientific paper, each discovery, becomes another verse in the saga of the king. From Montana's Badlands to Mongolia's cliffs, paleontologists chase its footprints in stone. Each expedition is more than a dig, it's a pilgrimage into deep time, guided by the legend itself. Museums call it the star fossil, but to many, it's an emblem of curiosity and courage. Children stare in awe, adults feel humility, and scientists sense destiny when facing its ancient bones. Through every era, T-Rex reminds us that greatness comes not just from power, but from endurance. The fossils stand as proof that even extinction cannot erase influence. Its bones survived the eons, its legend conquered the centuries. Even the asteroid that ended its reign could not silence its roar in human memory. Today, new technologies like 3D scanning and AI reconstruction bring it to life again. Digital paleontology allows researchers to simulate its gait, bite, and even its muscle movements. These virtual resurrections make T-Rex the most digitally studied animal in prehistory. Its influence stretches from scientific journals to children's cartoons, from labs to living rooms. In a way, the T-Rex has never truly gone extinct. It simply evolved within our imagination. Artists, filmmakers, and storytellers continue shaping its myth, keeping it alive in the modern age. That's the paradox of extinction. Even in absence, the legend endures with undying vigor. As humanity advances, we carry the spirit of T-Rex as a reminder of nature's former glory. Every discovery reaffirms the ancient truth: life always finds a way to echo through time. The bones that once ruled Earth now inspire technology, storytelling, and science alike. And in every roaring sound effect, in every fossil haul, the king's presence is felt. It stands as both a caution and celebration of dominance, downfall, and legacy intertwined. T-Rex didn't just rule its world, it rules our collective memory. That's why no other dinosaur holds such fascination, such power, or such cinematic immortality. From prehistoric hunter to cultural titan, its journey mirrors humanity's own rise from the dust. The king's shadow stretches across time, a monument to evolution's artistry. Its tale is not just about teeth and bones, but about endurance, imagination, and wonder. T-Rex became the storyteller of Earth's wild past, a roaring ambassador of the lost world. Its bones may rest in museums, but its spirit still stalks through science and dreams. That is the legacy of the king, a creature that time could not silence nor history could forget. Even in extinction, it continues to reign supreme, the eternal monarch of the ancient Earth. The Tyrannosaurus Rex, more than a dinosaur, a legend forever etched into the heartbeat of humanity. The legend of Tyrannosaurus Rex refuses to fade. With each new discovery, it grows sharper, stronger, and more alive. Modern paleontology is not just digging bones, it's decoding the very DNA of history to bring ancient giants back to life. Across labs and fossil sites, scientists merge old bones with cutting-edge technology, reimagining T-Rex in digital flesh. 3D scans of skulls, femurs, and teeth now reveal how the muscles and tendons powered its unmatched predatory force. Artificial intelligence reconstructs its movements, showing a hunter that walked with both grace and terrifying precision. Every simulation brings us closer to seeing the world as it once was, ruled by the unstoppable monarch of the Cretaceous. Researchers study microscopic bone structures to determine how T-Rex grew, aged, and even how it might have sounded. Vibrational models of its skull hint that T-Rex could produce low-frequency roars that humans could feel, not just hear. Imagine standing before a living king, the ground trembling beneath you, every cell in your body knowing it ruled all. Such moments blur the line between science and myth, a creature both real and immortal in our collective consciousness. Today's scientists no longer see fossils as dead remains, but as time capsules holding biological secrets. Proteins and soft tissues found in rare specimens like B. rex suggest fragments of life still preserved in stone. These molecular traces ignite debates. Could science ever retrieve genetic codes from the ancient past? Though true cloning remains beyond reach, paleogenomics opens doors to reconstructing ancient ecosystems. T-Rex serves as the perfect model. Its remains are abundant, well-preserved, and rich in evolutionary insight. By comparing its DNA fragments to modern birds, researchers trace the lineage of power that still lives among us. Every crow, every eagle carries whispers of the tyrant's ancient legacy in its blood and bone. In that sense, the king never truly died. It merely took to the skies, trading thunderous footsteps for flight. The thought that birds are living dinosaurs reshapes how we perceive nature itself. Continuity, not extinction. And so T-Rex lives on, not just as a fossil, but as a scientific truth that evolution never stands still. New finds in Montana, Alberta, and China keep rewriting the king's biography line by line, bone by bone. Juvenile skeletons show rapid growth rates, while adults reveal battle scars and fractures from violent lives. Pathologists examine these marks like crime scenes, piecing together a prehistoric saga of conflict and survival. Each healed bone tells of hunts gone wrong, of rivals challenged, of triumphs written in calcium and blood. Fossilized footprints trace its mighty stride, 15 feet from toe to toe, a rhythm of ancient domination. Modern computing allows paleontologists to recreate those strides in virtual reality, step by thunderous step. Through digital models, we can now walk beside T-Rex, hear its breath, and feel the vibration of its roar. Such immersive reconstructions make prehistory tangible, transforming education into pure experience. The classrooms of the future may no longer use textbooks, but holograms of T-Rex moving across ancient plains. Imagine students studying its behavior in real-time simulations powered by AI and fossil data combined. These advances blur the line between history, technology, and imagination, much like the king itself. Even robotics has joined the realm, creating life-sized animatronic T-Rexes that mimic breathing and muscle flex. In theme parks, these mechanical beasts awaken ancient instincts in the modern human heart. Yet beyond the entertainment lies the deeper purpose, to keep curiosity alive, just as fossils do. The story of T-Rex is the story of discovery, of human passion chasing the echoes of deep time. Paleontologists brave deserts, storms, and years of excavation to uncover fragments of the king's truth. Each fossil pulled from the earth carries not just science, but wonder, a handshake with prehistory. When the dust clears, the same question always lingers. Why does this creature captivate us so completely? Perhaps because T-Rex embodies the eternal conflict between creation and destruction. It was both the pinnacle and the end, nature's masterpiece before the world burned in fire and ash. The asteroid ended its reign, but in that fall the legend began, reborn through human imagination. Every fossil exhibit, every cinematic roar is humanity's way of keeping that lost world alive. The fascination crosses generations, uniting scientists, dreamers, and storytellers under one roaring crown. Museums now use augmented reality to layer T-Rex bones with flesh and motion for visitors to witness its might. Children reach out their hands as the king materializes before their eyes, life restored through light and code. That awe, that spark, it's what keeps paleontology alive, century after century. Because when humans marvel at T-Rex, they're also marveling at the miracle of Earth itself. The fossils whisper of survival, adaptation, and the inevitability of change, lessons for our fragile world. T-Rex teaches us that dominance is fleeting, but legacy endures beyond time's erosion. Every generation discovers the king anew, seeing in it reflections of power, fear, and resilience. To scientists, it's evolution's apex. To artists, it's the perfect muse. To dreamers, it's immortality made flesh. Its bones are now digital archives, its roar, a universal symbol of nature's unstoppable will. Across continents, research teams continue mapping its genome, comparing it to birds, reptiles, and mammals. Each study deepens the web of life, showing how all creatures, past and present, share an ancient bond. As our technology evolves, so too does our ability to resurrect lost knowledge from the bones of giants. One day, virtual ecosystems may allow us to explore Cretaceous worlds as living witnesses. The Earth, reborn in simulation, will once again tremble under the footsteps of the king. And when that happens, T-Rex will not be history. It will be presence, a breathing force of education and awe. Paleontology's future is no longer confined to the past. It's a living dialogue between time and discovery. Every scan, every dig, every data point adds another heartbeat to the ancient rhythm of life. Humanity digs not only for fossils, but for meaning, for connection to what came before us. In T-Rex we find that connection, fierce, magnificent, and humbling all at once. It reminds us that life's greatest stories are written not by kings or empires, but by evolution itself. That is why the king of dinosaurs remains more than a species. It is an idea, eternal and untamed. The name Tyrannosaurus Rex still rolls off tongues like a spell, summoning visions of power and destiny. In classrooms, it ignites curiosity. In laboratories, it fuels innovation. In art, it inspires awe. Few creatures, extinct or living, have shaped human thought so deeply across so many generations. And though 66 million years separate us, its influence feels closer with every fossil uncovered. Even scientists admit, studying T-Rex is like peering into the soul of Earth's history. The bones speak of beauty and brutality, of survival and silence, of a time when giants walked the land. To understand T-Rex is to understand the nature of life itself, fierce, fleeting, and forever evolving. In this pursuit, paleontology becomes poetry, each fossil a stanza in Earth's timeless epic. The king's story ends not with extinction, but with awakening in science, culture, and imagination. From the deserts of Montana to digital laboratories, its roar continues to echo across human progress. The same fire that once forged its dominance now burns in our quest for knowledge and understanding. In every dig site and museum hall, you can feel its silent gaze, the monarch watching over its legacy. The fossils remind us that greatness lies not in conquering others, but in leaving something that endures. T-Rex's endurance transcends time. Its tail bridges ancient worlds and the modern human spirit. No empire, no civilization, no species has left a mark so primal, so permanent, so profound. And so the king remains, not just a fossilized predator, but a living symbol of Earth's endless rebirth. Every thunderstorm, every earthquake echoes that same rhythm, the pulse of prehistoric life reborn. The Earth still remembers its rulers, and among them one name always rises above all others. T-Rex, the eternal monarch, the embodiment of nature's untamed glory. Its story belongs not only to science, but to everyone who has ever dreamed of a wilder world. For in knowing the king, we also rediscover ourselves, small yet connected to the vastness of creation. The fossils whisper, "Remember." The bones murmur, "Learn." The roar still says, "Live." As long as curiosity survives, the king's spirit will never fall silent. The story of T-Rex is the story of life, magnificent, tragic, and unending. And so the king walks on, not in flesh but in memory, roaring across the endless plains of time. The Tyrannosaurus Rex, forever crowned, forever remembered, forever the king of dinosaurs.